I decided that pursuing writing and travel would be more fulfilling to me than what I was doing in London. So I booked my flight and I started looking for jobs in Vietnam. I was hired after a 7-minute interview, which was mostly just asking when can I arrive. In fact, I did think I might be being trafficked, but I got lucky. Not that I got lucky that I was not being trafficked. I got lucky in that it was a good decision in the end. This is my new place. I'm gonna need to get like cushions on the sofas that are like really comfy, like, I don't know. Kitchen just has one hob, but I'm only gonna reuse it when I'm craving Western food. I've got a balcony. Some disgusting things that the landlady, I guess, gave to me. Oh. What you just saw was me a few days into Vietnam. What I didn't know at the time was that I would never cook a single meal. What I also didn't know is that there would be a lot of growth that year, being quite multifaceted. And hopefully I can represent it within my life and the 3 worlds which I have decided that I occupy here in Vietnam. To you. I work in a language centre where more affluent parents send their children. And then I also work in public schools where less affluent children learn English. The city is called Bac Giang and it's 90 minutes outside of Hanoi. In the beginning, I worked with kids of all ages and I had an adult class. Over time, I've settled into like 4 to 8 years old because of that's the age I find the most fun and rewarding to teach. I was only teaching 25 hours a week, but it was over 6 days. This has been fine because the hours are minimal each day. The kids make the experience wonderful and I will miss some of the kids. They literally worship me. Yeah. The social life here in Bac Giang is interesting. Bac Giang has nothing going for it per se. There is nothing to do, and every natural space that is worth visiting seems to be at least an hour's drive away. And my social life revolves around my work. My boss loves to butter us up with food and drinks, and she's taken us on trips away, and it's been lovely. Every Tuesday and Friday, she takes us to Beer Hoi, which is a sort of outdoors chairs and tables and kegs of beer and food. It's a Vietnamese pub. That is largely my entire social life. I have not found much success at reaching out to other expat teachers in Bac Giang. Lack of effort on both of our parts, I think. Well, they just didn't like me. But I have colleagues, some of whom I've become friends with. Every expat here has a different story. Most are lost in some way. That seems to be quite common. But I don't know if that's how they would necessarily see it. And the worst of the people, though, are the bottom-of-the-barrel men who find in Vietnam a place where women will put them on a pedestal, that the patriarchy always promised them women would do so. But in their home country, it didn't happen for them. And so they came here. Fucking hell. I don't have a lot in common with a lot of expats here. Here's a collection of videos that sum up the interesting parts of life here in Bac Giang. My day-to-day is probably different to what you will see in the videos. Roll up! Frog's leg. Yeah. Someone like you. Nothing but This is just the best that Vietnam gets. Like, I've just been to the gym, so I've got all that dopamine. I've got my favourite food here, and I've just had a monster because I went to the gym. So, oh my god, there was a bug. The bug went through my flip-flop. Oh, it's a cockroach. The end of summer brought new faces to the centre, and this was lovely because they were girls. And one of them, Molly, stayed on at the centre, having come as a volunteer, and she provided me with something closer to normality in a friend. In the last year in Vietnam, I have been to Hoi An, Ninh Binh, Mù Cang Chải, Hà Giang, and Ha Long. I also visited family in France, and I went to Sumatra. I never ventured further south in Vietnam than Hoi An, and I didn't end up going to Sapa. The way I see it is the world is big, and I don't need to see everything. I have seen parts of Vietnam that most don't. That is good enough for me. So here's a collection of videos of everything I did outside of my city. It's so small. Space is tiny. The first thing I did when I got here was join a gym and start kickboxing. I enjoyed kickboxing a lot. My trainer didn't speak any English, and before the end of our contract, he passed me on to a different trainer at a different gym. I'm not sure why he did this, and I hope it wasn't personal. I mean, he might have hated me, but he didn't speak any English. This new trainer was great, and everyone who worked in his gym were wonderful. All of them only spoke Vietnamese. They gave me the Vietnamese name Lan, which means orchid. Yeah. Kickboxing, I have said this past year, is what kept me sane. But I've come to realize that that probably wasn't the case. The exercise is great and the endorphins were great, but what was keeping me sane was how much I was diving headfirst into my interests and my fixations in a way that when I was in London working a 40-hour work week, I was never able to do. I realized that I have a very rich inner world that I need to feed with routine and commitment to my hobbies. Yeah. So, what are those hobbies? Okay. What have I been doing then to thrive, to make my inner world thrive? Yeah. Okay, when I got here, it got hot very quickly. And I started spending my days in cafes drinking Synthol Borsoi. I tried writing articles for charities and got one published, but soon my obsession with an idea for a children's fantasy novel based on Welsh mythology took hold, and writing this novel became every spare second of my day. Most of my work was sparsely spread out throughout the day and more towards the evenings, so I had a big chunk of time in the middle of the day where I was most able to focus, and it suits me really well to be able to put that focus into things that make me happy, such as writing this fantasy novel. I finished the first draft. I was proud of having reached that achievement, and I went on to other stories and other things. I became obsessed with Spanish. I committed up to 4 hours a day studying it for months. I began to read a lot, and I think I could finally call myself a voracious reader. I found that I could so happily spend my time on these hobbies, and it opened my eyes to the inner workings of my brain, which after an ADHD diagnosis also came to the realization that I was autistic. So it's very important for me to have this time in order to spend on the things that make my inner world thrive. This thriving inner world didn't mean for a second that I was happy to be here. I have been counting down the days since early November, but I've seen how I'm able to thrive where I think many people would not. It's isolating here, but for me, the rewards that come with working so little are worth those feelings of isolation. At least for this last year anyway. Like, don't get me wrong, being here has been incredibly draining. The culture is, after a while, is difficult. I do find it difficult being here in a lot of ways, which I won't get into. It has slowly dawned on me, throughout the course of being here, that I won't be returning to the UK. When I first left, I thought maybe it would just be for 6 months. And now we're 11 months in, and I've signed a contract for another job in India next year. So it doesn't seem like a traditional career in London is ever going to be appropriate for me. I can't teach in the British educational system. I came here to be a writer and to pursue that, which I am still, to a degree, doing that. But these teaching jobs abroad allow me the space that I need to pursue that. I can never pursue that in London or in the UK. There's some inclination to become an ecologist. The past year I have realized that nature is incredibly soothing in a way I hadn't realized before, and I really appreciate temperate climates. This has left me wondering what the point of my master's was in the first place, besides getting me to London, and London was very beneficial for me. But of course I want more social life, and I do want more of a queer community. That is something I miss about London. But I think I'll have that in India, even if it's just within one person. But first, I have Egypt, Germany, England and Wales, Spain and Australia. And I'm sure I'll make videos for each one of those. So, keep watching. Bye.